my god. This is the worst. Why? Are we good? Okay. Okay. So, hello guys. This is the 11th episode of Much Ado About Dota. We failed, so we drew you a picture. Charlie said we both had to draw Sam. So me and Kurt will show you our pictures of Sam. Hopefully you can see this is my artwork in real life.
I didn't see it too.
Did you brown face him?
I think mine's pretty good. It's pretty accurate.
You're really a con, bro.
Those are our drawings of Sam. That's our gift to you guys.
I'm so clever.
Okay, so on the reel, I'm Blitz. I'm the host. Joining me today is none other than Dignitas Atos 2000, aka Kurt. Hello.
Hi.
Also, Liquid Bulba, who
Wait,
was
is Aoi getting the credit for the Atos?
Oh my god! Yeah.
Let me say one thing, bro.
This is why you're a power shit,
Let me say one thing. In ESWC Paris last night, we're both drunk, okay, at this amazing after party, and I whispered in EY's ear, Rod of Atos is imbalanced.
Also, that's you put it in. You inceptioned him.
Yep.
Okay. So with us is Liquid Bulba. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
And then Charlie, his hetero man crush.
Please no. Please don't. Please don't.
No, Charlie's really a clown. So it's not a lie.
Hi, Charlie. Nice to see you.
Hi.
He's the manager of Dignitas. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good to finally get on here and get this show up and running.
Okay, so first topic is, for those of you that aren't aware, there's been some drama about Fnatic.NA kicking off their entire team, kicking one player, and then some salty words being exchanged, right? Kurt, I know that you also had some input about the sponsor itself. Would you like to elaborate on the situation?
Well, as a brief summary for all the viewers, basically what happened was 6 months ago, Fnatic.NA picked up JT.Dota, or JT.Dota was formed 6 months ago. Somewhere along the line, Fnatic.NA picked them up. And then 2 members had to leave due to work and school, I believe. And instead of trying to use those 3 as a core, they decided to keep only Smurf, and then they would build a team around him. But the way that they did it was pretty horrible, I think, because they didn't talk to anyone except for Smurf, and then they just sort of kicked out the other 2 people.
Yeah, it did seem a little bit nefarious. I also saw, like, the guy was like, please return our monitor that we gave you. Like, what are you going to do with that?
I mean, it's part of the contract, so they're in their right to do that, right? So
yeah, most sponsorship agreements have that sort of clause in there where after you leave, everything that's given to you or loaned to you by the sponsor in terms of gear is still technically their property, so you do have to return them.
I mean, but how are they going to, like, repackage it or something? Like, what's the point of them getting it back? I know,
to give it to somebody else.
So weird. I know Cole or whatever, they got to keep all the stuff that Complexity originally gave them.
Yeah, I mean, usually you get to keep it. Like, if you part on bad terms or whatever, or even if most of the time when you part on good terms, I mean, most sponsors will just be like, screw it, you can keep it. Like, it's fine. This is your, like, a parting gift sort of thing. But I guess this, I don't know, I guess Fnatic really needs that monitor.
Yeah, it just seems like a weird, thrifty way of doing things. Like,
What monitor was it? Do you know?
Dude, I don't know, but it just seems like a weird thing. Like,
I don't know. Like Fnatic's a big organization. I don't think they need a monitor. I think it's more to punish the player, or that's it feels like. But that's really, I don't know.
So Sam, weigh in on the situation. How do you feel about the way that, if you did actually read at all about how Fnatic went about things, you agree with the way they did things, or disagree, or what?
The team or the actual?
Well, either side.
I don't know much about the management, but I do feel that if what the guys said, where one of the guys is in high school and it's really hard to play, I think Dignitas can kind of did the same thing when they got rid of snaking. because it's really hard to play and get better as a team when one of your players is, especially this guy was actually on the West Coast too. I think Whitebeard, he's on the West Coast, so that's even worse. Having him on the West Coast and him like having high school, so that's like impossible to play the Europeans or anything during the weekdays. So that guy's kid was totally messed up. I haven't read past like the 10 pages of that thread because it just looks really, it just doesn't seem that interesting. But I feel that the players, at least everyone in Dota, at least is, I mean, it looks like it was just like kind of a drift between the players, and most people are just looking for kind of a scapegoat right now because they've already like they've been together as a team for quite a long time and they haven't showed that many results, and obviously at maybe if it was 2 months, I would say the management is like made a bad decision. They should have kept them together, but it's been for like 6 months and they haven't really showed anything. So it's hard for me to really side with the players in this, even
I
though
think
I did see the logs between the management and the Rolo guy, and that seemed kind of abrupt. How the manager, I think,
I thought that was horrible.
that was really bad the way he talked to them. Because you're when you get rid of that, like you can't just talk to a player like that. He's obviously has his own emotions.
And it seems like he didn't even warn him at all or give him any notice or, hey, if this doesn't fix, then we're going to have to take action here. It's just, oh, I'm informing you that this is what I've decided and you're done.
yeah,
And then he
I think,
tried to ask him why, and then he's just like, no, you're done.
I think it was less Sam to do with the fact that they got kicked and more to do with the fact that how they went about it. Because I think they would have taken less issue if they said, "Look, we're not satisfied with the way things are. Like things need to change, or else there'll be shakeups." Which is like generally how things are done in a more professional environment, right? It's like you give somebody formal notice. Because I think it was kind of a rude way to do it, especially since the players, like if you notice, a lot of them had structured their lives around this. So I feel like it's also management's responsibility to a certain extent to keep an open line of communication with the players.
Yeah.
So I disagree with you there, but I completely
What exactly
see.
do you disagree about? Just
Just
them
the
being
fact.
more open?
Yeah, I think they should have been more open in general, and I feel like yeah, they probably weren't satisfied with the team's results, but they could have at least said something. From what it seems like, dating back, they hadn't said anything at all.
I mean, so I read the entire thread, all
Okay.
however many pages there were up until now, and like Smurf also made a post, and then Tobacco made one too. I mean, I guess overall, it comes back to what Blitz said, is that management didn't really talk to anybody except for Smurf. And then on the chat logs that were posted, the guy said something about, I can't micromanage all 5 of you guys. And I mean, that's something I kind of have to take issue with, because I mean, as a player manager, that's sort of your job. You kind of do have to micromanage all your guys. I mean, I talk to every single one of my guys at least once every single day, probably more than that. And I mean, I guess I almost micromanage the hell out of them sometimes. Like when Snake King was with us, I even helped him with his fucking homework at one time. and then like when Sam was at ESWC with us, I mean, I practically wrote half his paper because he had no idea what he was doing.
Dude, how did you write you gave me suggestions because you're
No,
a law
Sam-
student. And the
Sam-
paper
Sam-
was on, what was it on? It was like Nozick and Rawls.
This
I
is
had
why
not
you
read
don't
any
help
of the books.
Sam. He doesn't even say thank you.
I
Dude,
know.
I
He
said
just says,
thank you.
Your thanks,
Sam's
your
like-
help isn't that much.
Dude, how is you giving me
Sam
tips at
messaged
writing my
me.
paper?
Sam messaged me and he's like, "Charlie, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what this means." I was like, "Holy shit!" And then he just gives me his prompt and he's like, "I don't know what this is. Give me ideas, please." And then so I gave him an idea and he's like, "I don't know what that means. Can you explain it more?" And I ended up writing like this giant thing of just explaining how Sam needs to write his paper and the entire idea behind it.
I do have to, Kurt, you mentioned in that NEODota thread that they asked a big deciding factor for you guys anyways, not getting into specifics, but they did ask you to let go of Charlie, right?
Yeah,
If you were to be on Fnatic.
if they approached us, or actually specifically, they approached Snake King, which is weird because he's the youngest member of our team, and there's no contact information for him. possibly for a reason, on like Ghosted Gamers or anything. And then they approached Snake King. He brought it to us, and I went to talk to the Elroy guy, right? Because I was sort of talking to sponsors a lot of the time back then,
Yeah.
and something that I said was, "Oh, if we pick you up, then I'm going to be your manager. You have to drop your manager." And then I didn't want to do that, and like I tried to ask him, is that like something that we can work on together? Like we can change that somehow? And it was just no. Like there's no like flexibility there at all, and that was pretty much the point where it's like, no, we're not taking Fnatic, no chance.
Aw, good loyalty, friend.
Aw, that's so cute. But can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When your son is a player on your team, how do you kick him out of your team? All I can say is, meet his son.
All right,
Meet his
Sam.
son, guy.
All right, Sam, it's coming off. So, you want to hear shit about Sam? Sam messages me every single day. Like earlier when we were all laughing and I put my head
Dude,
down.
wait, can I say
And
do
you
it?
guys couldn't hear it. And you guys couldn't hear it. This is what Sam actually said. Sam moaned my name, and then earlier he was like, "Do you want to see my dick?"
Obviously troll. Can I say something? Beat is at DreamHack. What did he say? You snaking his son. Can
Do you remember? Do you remember when you were molesting Wei2 on the bed at Paris, and then he took the card and started punching you in the dick?
How exactly did we go from a team disbanding to like people trying to outgay each other?
Like, watch out, boss. You got a creeper as your manager.
Okay, Sam.
Okay, enough
Okay.
fun and games. Let us go on to this.
Okay, so next topic. Next topic, please. Since everyone knows how we feel roughly about the Fnatic stuff. We were talking a while back about like Dota lands, right, and how necessary they are to Dota's growth, right? Because I think out of the last infographic, like out of the 3 million accounts and stuff, like less than 25% of players were from North America, right? I think. But anywho, I went to a LAN this weekend. For those of you who don't know, it was the UCSD LAN, Winter Game Fest and stuff like that. I went with
Wait, how did you finish in that LAN?
we did very well. We
Oh, really?
only lost one game. Yes.
Oh, so does that mean you guys won the LAN?
Technically, we apparently have to play one more game, and if we win
Oh.
that, we win. But we won at the LAN setting, and that's no matter. But for me, it was like the best thing ever since I don't know. It was like there's nothing like it, right? Going to a LAN and having people like come up to you and talk to you and share your experience, and hearing people like scream and stuff while we were playing. That was so neat.
Time to
feel
the
like
real story. How did you
that's-
feel beating Demon mid?
Uh, it felt okay.
Really?
That's pretty reserved. That's a pretty reserved answer.
How did you feel when you outskilled the hell out of their entire team with Storm Spirit?
Well, it was pretty fun. Let's say that it was a good time. There's nothing like it though, because every time I think about like quitting playing competitively and going to like casting or something else, or just like quitting the game in general, like stuff like that, like a LAN, it like inspires you, right? There's like nothing quite like it.
Oh.
I think I was talking to like Purge in the car and stuff, and he was saying the same thing. Like that feeling was like amazing. It really is. So I can completely see why like a lot of for people that wonder like why some of the players where their skill isn't exactly up to par, why they don't just quit, right? And that's part of the reason. So I think LANs are absolutely essential to Dota's growth. Thoughts? Of course, you're all going to agree with me, but
Well, how could we disagree? I mean, but absolutely. I mean, when we went to DreamHack and ESWC, I mean, being there in person and seeing everybody, and I mean, physically seeing esports was pretty ridiculous. Like a DreamHack, if you're a professional gamer, you should go there at least once and just see it and see all the people crammed in there.
So, like, did you feel like wait, the finals hasn't happened yet, right? You play the finals
yeah,
online.
Yeah, we have to play the finals online because there wasn't enough time. We had to clear out.
Proud of you, buddy. You've grown into
Thank
a
you.
fantastic player.
Thank you. A lot of work goes into that. Actually, no work goes into that. It's me. I like played like.
No,
20
I was having my doubts, dude. I thought third game they banned Blitz's only hero, and he still does decent with Queen of Pain. So
Hey, I just don't know what to do with Queen of Pain later on in the game, but I don't know. I hope for the most part that if you
they
haven't
did
yet,
silent you mid actually. So
yeah, that was a bit difficult to deal with. But for those of you who have never been to a LAN that is like Dota oriented, I really hope that in the audience, and I don't know if you how many LAN you went to ESWC, right, Sam, and DreamHack?
yeah,
Okay, so you have been to LANs, but I strongly urge people to consider going, and I hope that Dota does get picked up by a major organization, just so other
there's a
people
huge
can enjoy it.
difference. Like ESWC wasn't nearly as good. DreamHack and was amazing compared to them.
Oh,
I
really?
guess
Did a
it's
lot of
just
people approach you and stuff?
ESWC. No one approached us at all, besides the other players there, like the other teams that actually came. Because
Yeah.
there weren't that many people in Paris, I guess, that play Dota. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, ESWC was a meh.
It was like just a gaming expo. Most of the people there were just to watch the actual games going on and stuff, like the new games and stuff. They're like trying out the whatever Halo 4 and the other games.
But I don't know. I feel as a competitive player, there's like nothing that beats a LAN setting. Even though there weren't like too many people there, just the environment itself, it makes you wonder, man. Anyways, speaking of Dotabuff and their 3 million players, they recently actually just released that they had a poll. So Dotabuff, for people that don't know, Dotabuff had a poll on whether or not to show MMR publicly, and they left it up to the community. And actually, I read most of the Reddit comments, and I know Reddit doesn't represent like the entire Dota community, but it seemed like for the most part, people were against the idea of publicly showing their rating system. And actually, the ratings open to the public, it like won in a landslide at 64.51% compared to the 27% of people saying that it should be private. What are your guys' thoughts on the subject of publicly showing MMR? Kerr, you're like number
Curtis
one
has more to
publisher,
say
so
about this. So.
yeah.
Well, actually, both Reddit and Team Liquid were very like favored in keeping it private. So I wasn't really expecting. Like I was gonna make posts on both the Reddit thread and Team Liquid thread about how I didn't think that it should be public, but I went there and all the highest upvotes were all like, "Oh, it should be kept private. Oh, I would love to have stats as long as it's not public." And then the vote came out and it was really really weird. And I don't know. I like really strongly feel that any sort of rating like that should not be made public because I don't think there's much, if any, benefits, and I think there are a lot of bad things that can come from it. Like I know that I think it was on the Evil Geniuses site, there was some guy who wrote an article about how he thought that stats should be made public, and then I was responding to him on Reddit, and I actually wrote like a really long post about how I didn't think it should be public. And I think my main points were like not showing stats publicly, you're going to lessen the amount of flame, or at least slow down when the flame will start. Maybe you don't like. Maybe flame will inevitably happen, but if you don't have public stats, the flame might begin at 2 minutes instead of minute 0, and then there will be games where since you don't have that flame at minute 0, and everything is good for the first 5 minutes, then you don't have flame for that game, and it creates a better Dota experience. And there's also like, I don't know. That was like my main point around that. So I really don't like public viewable stats.
Yeah, but okay, sorry. What? Go on, Charlie.
No, I mean, I'm not a fan of it either. I mean, if what's the point of making them public? I guess so you can see other people's stats. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, you can see like win rate and who's good already off of Dotabuff. And I mean, the downsides of having them public, I mean, I think it heavily outweighs the, I don't know, whatever benefit you get from showing your stats off to the world. And I mean, I think the 65% is really surprising to me because, like Kurt, I saw everybody disagreeing with. I mean, I saw everybody not wanting them public. So I don't know where the 65 comes from. Maybe a lot of Dunning-Krugers voting.
Don't don't you think? Okay, so I agree with you guys that it should be private. With maybe and if you choose to share it with somebody, so be it. But there are some benefits, though, right? Like for people that won't use it abusively, they're the people that want to see like their growth and relative to how other people that they think are good are doing.
You can do that just comparing to the average, or if you're comparing with friends, it's very easy to show each other, right?
Yeah.
But like I don't know, like when I was writing the response to that guy. Wait, what was it called? The like thread on Reddit was by a guy called Gradivo, and it's called "The Influence of Public Matchmaking Stats in the Community." It's on EvilGeniuses.net or something. And then, like, I actually could not like he didn't make a single point that was positive for showing public stats, and I was just picking apart his argument. And like I was thinking about it, I can't really think of any real positives either. Like that can't be achieved without in a different way, or like easier, or like with less flame and less negatives.
So you think this is going to negatively influence people's experiences in matchmaking?
Yeah, I really do. And I don't know, I matchmake a lot, and it's not like my stats are bad in matchmaking either, so it's not like I'm scared to show my stats. It's just I really think that this will make matchmaking worse. And I think that's really bad for Dota as a game, especially in how like it's growing really well, and I don't want to like scare people off, because the main gripes I hear people have with Dota are it's too hard, the learning curve is too hard, or wow, I went into a game and the 4 other teammates called me stupid and told me to GTFO and go back to League of Legends. And I think that just perpetuates that sort of attitude.
You tell me that all the time.
Yeah, well, you should, because you suck, idiot.
I don't know why you're flaming your own manager.
Dude, there's some really neat stuff. So I got a beta access thing to this. Jonathan from Dotabuff was very kind enough to do it, and for the most part, it actually looks really nice. Like it allows you to see stuff like aside from the MMR things, like it allows you to see people's builds, the order in which they got them, the skill builds and stuff like that. You can even check like top heroes, like how good people are relative to their heroes. Even though my Storm isn't #1, so depressing. But there are a lot of neat features in this. I think the only thing that's a bit wrong is I kind of agree with you on the whole the ranking system and showing it publicly, because I know that they have a system, right, where they're gonna they establish a rating where like Diamond is the highest, right? That's like the top 1%. And I feel like that is enough. Like you don't have to show everybody else's MMR. If anything, you can just show what their rough rating is, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, it made sense.
Yes. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, because they have Diamond, Platinum, Gold, Silver, Bronze, and then there's like a pretty wide MMR range between those. So if you're playing in that same matchmaking bracket, you're probably going to live in those same things, right? Like a Plat player will most likely see another Plat player, and that way you can't like flame that way.
Even like those things, like on Team Liquid forums, I've seen like a poster who actually has a pretty decent idea for a timing attack, but then he like puts a replay of him doing it, and it's in Diamond League, and the first 6 comments will be like, "Oh, you're in Diamond, your idea sucks." But I've actually used those ideas like to win tournament. Like my main strategy in StarCraft 2 was a 8-minute 3 tank, 12 marine, no stim, no shields, timing push, and with 4 Hellions or whatever. And that idea came from a Diamond player where I took on Team Liquid. And like entire first page was discrediting him, but it was a really good idea. It's just the execution wasn't there. His build order wasn't like perfect. But if you refine it, you can take ideas off players who aren't at the top skill level.
When you go back to StarCraft 2, you're gonna regret telling everybody that.
Dude, Kirk got smashed when we played me.
Yeah, it's really hard to beat someone who hasn't played in a year, huh?
Dude, I haven't played it like in.
I think in my reign I could have beaten Kurt and stuff.
Oh yeah, you totally could have, Bulba. But anyway, Sam, what are your thoughts on the matter, if you have any at all?
I actually have thoughts about this because I'm a big advocate of the in-house league format, where you have stats, and winning games matters because it boosts your stats. And I was always a player in these in-house leagues that used to go for the KDR and these kind of things. So I think I actually read one of the posts in the Reddit where it's like, if you can make it privately, you can. You can like have an option or something. Yeah. Like if you log in and then you can select this is your account and you log in with Steam, and then you can show that it's private. If you're like people want to like.
But can't you imagine you do that and then you play with people in a game and they'll instantly start flaming you like, wow, you're so bad you hide your stats, like. Because
What
you
is
know,
it?
like
Why-
it's
why do you-
the- it's
Sam
a-
knows. He's
it's a
the
rating
he's one
is
of the guys
public.
that would do it.
Yeah, you're one of the guys who would do that actually.
Wait,
And then,
what?
like, you know what the rating's public? They're gonna just
I don't-
develop like
I
a
don't
small
flame
app.
in matchmaking, though.
What?
I'm not one of those guys that flame
You
people.
just flamed someone on our team in like an hour ago in matchmaking.
he was throwing the game, dude.
No, he was throwing because we flamed him. Like, seriously, if you guys didn't flame him, he would have came in. We would have won the game.
It was me. It was way too sexy, I think.
And you.
Whatever, man. Charlie, take care of your team. They're being flamers in pubs. But anyways,
It's all you, you clown.
Oh damn, Kurt, you have a higher MMR than me. Damn it.
And like the thing is, like, you know, like a week after this comes out, someone's gonna develop a really easy like web tool that will just let people check it in game. They don't have to go to a website to
Oh,
check
you're
out every
right.
single player, right?
whatever, man. I was actually one of the people that voted for it to be public, so that's my opinion.
But
Do I
in-house
do I disagree? Do I disagree that people are gonna flame and make it like what was it? People comparing it to Han and whatever ELO, but is it really that bad? Like I didn't play Han much, so I didn't know. But is it like you see a player with low stats and
So
just keep flaming him?
basically, Sam is one of those people who have like no education on the subject, and then they just vote without thinking. Like this is what like general
not
public
bad, though,
elections are like. This is why like democracy. Like
I haven't been in
you
the
take like
situation.
idiots and they all vote, and then you get bad decisions made. Like
Dude,
grant Sam.
I haven't played in in Han or whatever to know that. I just played in in-house leagues, which is like that, and I actually don't see that much in in-house leagues. People
But that's
play.
because in-house leagues are different from like public matchmaking. Sam.
like
C9, NADL, all those leagues that we used to play in, they're completely different. It's the same group of 100 players that all know each other. So like when you flame or when you know stats or whatever, it doesn't matter. Everybody knows each other. So there's no sort
Give you
of like
motivation to like have better stats in comparison to others, or what?
Yeah, but you can still view those if they're private.
No, but that doesn't mean anything if
So
you're
basically, you're insecure and you need something to tell you you're better than other people in Dota. Like that's the only argument for
No,
making
it's
it.
not me.
this.
But okay, but people have that attitude though. Like it'll make matchmaking games more
But
fun
do you
if there's a
think
public
that
rating.
like allowing for that attitude helps the growth of Dota or makes the game better?
the pub-
Introduces new players to a game to grow the game so that you as a professional player will benefit from it.
But how does it not benefit? Like how does it make it worse?
How
though?
does people flaming each
maybe-
other and scaring each other off the game so you have a lower player base,
But
less
it's
people
the
watching?
People, do you think the people that are flaming are gonna stop because they're the stupid things in public? People are still gonna be flaming. The ones that flame are gonna flame.
I think
Yes,
I
they're still gonna flame, but
It's just gonna give them a better tool to flame.
yes,
that's
you're
all.
giving them a better tool for
so why
flaming.
would you give them more
Exactly.
weapons to
But
flame?
regardless,
This is
like,
like,
what does
hey,
it
that
matter?
guy's gonna go out and try to kill people. Instead of the knife he has, let's give him a gun because he's gonna do it anyways. Now he can kill 20 people instead of one.
Whatever. But that's just honestly, that's my opinion. I don't care much. Maybe it's just because the position like where I haven't played that much or know that, but I don't think I think
matchmake
people are
much.
gonna
And then when you,
Yeah.
I mean, and your position is different from everybody else's. You go into a game with a liquid tag, and everyone's like, "Holy shit, it's Bulba," or maybe they just start flaming you for your Invoker versus Ferrari. But
I don't know
but-
why you're being this dude. Like, is there even relevance to this?
no, I love you, Sam.
The thing,
No, no,
but Sam, okay, so my MMR is higher than yours. Am I supposed to use that as I'm not even kidding.
Wait, is it really?
It's a great deal higher than yours, like 200 points.
Wait.
Am I supposed to, like, how does that make you feel if I go up to you in a pub
You
game?
are
It doesn't make me
less
feel
of a
good.
person than Blitz.
Okay, wait. So if
You're 200 hey, you're,
But that's how
ahead.
people are gonna perceive that, That's how people are gonna perceive that. They're gonna say, Blitz has a higher MMR than Bulba. Like, you know what I mean? That's the way that, you and I rationally can talk about this and say, obviously you're on the team, you're better than I am. You're a good player, Sam. But for the most part, a lot of like public players, they're gonna use that as kind of like their entire metric. Like that's the only thing they're gonna use.
and like Sam, you're basing okay. C9TL is probably the top 1 or 2% of Dota players. That I think that league is so awful, but it probably is.
But why do you flame this though? Like, why do you flame the league if you think it's top 1%?
Because all that flaming that happens in that league, that's what makes me hate the league. And like, I don't know, that environment's so bad for learning anything. If a new player comes in, hey, okay, Sam, a new player comes into C9DL that no one knows, he makes a mistake. What happens? The game gets paused and everyone flames him. Like, your Caudle misclicks on Mana Leak instead of Illuminate, what would you do?
I would obviously get annoyed.
The game. Pause the game to save him. And then what does he want to do? He doesn't want to play C9DL. Now apply that to the context of Dota as a game in general. Someone pauses the game, flames him. He doesn't want to play Dota anymore. Congrats, you've just lost one player. And your
Dude,
game...
but that's different though, because you
it's
love
the
the
same
game. If you love the game, you're not gonna not play it because someone flames you.
Yes,
It's like
like,
these
how-
situations.
But how would they know
game
that they
yet.
love the game or not if their first experience is like somebody saying like,
Okay,
Your MMR
I understand.
did?
I understand in the first. Okay, why don't you do this? Why don't you do like what StarCraft 2 did, where the higher leagues you could see it, like in the league that where AOI and MERS and Merlini and like this kind of league and in Blitz, like you can have that people show stats, but in the newer one you can't see them. Is there a way you could do that in Dota Puff?
Well, I don't know why does that matter?
Because AOI just gave an argument for that. It's gonna affect the newer players more than the ones that
Why
are.
do you want to see your stat? I mean, why do you want?
Because I will honestly play more matchmaking if I can see a public
Then
stat.
you can
you can see your private stats though.
But it's more relevant if you can be public. You understand what I'm saying?
So
Okay,
people
Sam.
can see how good you are in pubs. Is this what we're getting at in the end? You want people to know how good you are in that.
Kurt, my mom just said you're good looking.
Whatever. All I can say is democracy rules. You can check the vote. That's all I can say. I'm gonna resort to the shitty argument right now because I'm getting teamed up over here.
Yeah. Democracy has never made bad decisions. Ever.
Where's Ike's Mike? Let me get him on this. He's gonna agree with me.
Wait, Charlie, do you know of any instances where democracy has made really bad decisions in history? I can't think of any.
Go ahead and say slavery.
Whatever.
Oh, did democracy do that?
Kind of did.
Oh, we're comparing slavery to Dota. What it is now?
Okay.
It's different
No.
circumstances.
But you know what we're saying, right?
I understand. I really understand what you're saying. But can you give me a valid argument for why you can't do it where you can see in the upper leagues you can have the Dotabuff Rating and for the lower leagues you can't? Or for the people that are going to play new? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, I want to see I want to see your public stats.
Yeah,
Like,
but-
you're a player that I want to see publicly. Oh, why don't you make it so all the verified players on the list you can see
Well,
theirs?
Well, the
Have
easier
that.
way to do that is by default you put it to private, and if people want it to be public, then they turn on. Even that I would be against, because
So if I want to see your stats, there's no way I could ever see your
you could ask me.
stats. That's like useless though. That's
No,
like-
it's not
so
because
this site is only gonna make stats for yourself to see it. Isn't the whole point so everyone can see each other's? I
well,
don't-
what
I think the call.
Isn't that an inherent broken argument right now? What you're saying?
I couldn't hear you.
I think his mic fucked up.
For me?
Yeah, yours.
Is it better now? Or
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry, can you just repeat that really quick though?
what? Okay, I think your inherent argument is that like you isn't the point of the site you can see other people's stats though? Isn't that what Dotabuff exists for? Because obviously I go on Dotabuff. I don't use that to see my stats. I use that to see
No, you don't.
other people. Yeah, I see partly my stats, but I feel like if when I want to see someone else's stats, I obviously look in that, like the top meter and stuff like that.
But
You know?
I don't know. Should you be able to look at
What?
Should you be able to look at other people's stats?
Should you be able to look at the person's?
I think to an extent, at a level, if you're verified or you're a top ELO or whatever the hell it is, you should be able to see other people's stats. Like,
Yeah,
people
but like,
can see those stats. Like,
how
I
about
wanna
like
make
people who solo kill, like against with a 4-stack? They solo kill. The solo kill experience in Dota 2 is not good right now. Like for the majority of people, I think it's fine because I don't know. I've never had issues with solo killing really.
So,
But-
solo queue and you're in the high ELO, doesn't that give you the stats?
Solo kill? No, I would assume stacking would give you better stats because you win more.
I know, but the people that solo queue and they get into the high ELO, don't they have good stats? You know what I'm saying? Where's my still
I
shaking?
would assume they would have the same MMR as the people in their bracket.
Yeah, so why can't you just say everyone in that high MMR you can see their stats online?
Like, the
I wanna-
basis
I
for
wanna
my
see,
argument.
like people that want to get better, right? Isn't that site existing so they want to make it so the site exists so people can get better from the lower? So obviously you can remove the fact where you can't see other people's MMR, but if it's on like the verified list, like I want to see your stats, or I want to see like anyone's stats. Like if a good player is playing MMR, and someone that's lower skill wants to see them play and get like they want to see the item builds that you use, the skill builds that you
Whoa,
like.
whoa, 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 whoa! This wouldn't cover any of those like item builds and stuff like that. Like all the stuff that Dotabuff has on right now, you could probably still view it, right? Even without this, the stats
Yeah,
is like
so-
your KDR, like your MMR. Actually, wasn't this just for MMR? This vote? Sound correct me if
Yeah, I
I'm wrong?
think so. I think
Like this
so.
is just for MMR. They'll still be able to learn from people. They'll still be able to look at the game IDs, watch the replays, everything like that. The only thing that this changes is that at the beginning of the game, if you're solo queuing, someone can't look at you and be like, "You have 5 elo less than me. You are less significant as a player. You're not going mid. I'm taking mid, even though you're Shadow Fiend and I'm
so the
Neutral."
ratings are just. It's not like actual other stuff more than
No,
that.
that stuff will be still completely accessible as far as I can understand. Like that, those are interesting statistics. I am completely in favor of like coming out like item build stuff like that. That should, of course, that should be visible. That's not anything like who's gonna flame like okay, no one's gonna look at an item build for every single game you do because that and then go like oh you went like not Route of Atos on Doom so you're stupid because anyone who doesn't go Route of Atos on Doom is stupid, right? Like no one's gonna do that, but people will go, oh, this is your MOR that I can see through my web app tool that drags from Dotabuff, and you're now less of a player than me.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but I still feel that maybe to a higher extent, the higher leagues they can be visible, but the lower you can obviously remind like
But
what
even
Blizzard
even
did.
at a higher like you know that this will create more flame. It's just that you think that people at higher leagues will be able to deal with it better, be able to deal with
That's
the
my main
flame.
argument. That's my main argument.
That's your argument, right? But
Yeah.
if we're looking at the growth of Dota as a game as a whole, do you really think that flaming helps it?
But how does that? But
Like,
you said
Randy,
you're gonna. But the argument
Yeah.
is that
Fucking flame.
You know what the issue is
Let's
that,
move on.
and we'll just like end it here, is that Sam, you see things from a competitive standpoint, and Kurt is more talking to a casual standpoint, and I feel like the large majority of players won't go competitive. Like 99.5% of players won't go competitive, so it's a moot
but
point.
it's like I know some players that play matchmaking that play it more and that would love that kind of ELO system.
Wait, but
be
your
available.
anecdotal
they're-
experience is just anecdotal experience.
Yeah. All right.
I still
so
feel,
we're
I
good.
still feel if you take a high ELO, if you can take a vote of all the high ELO players, they're gonna be up for having their MMR open. If
Yeah,
they
but
obviously-
we're not like a representation of the entire community. That's the issue. Because
And even
we
if you
are,
take those
we represent
high
like the
players-
top 1%. So
yeah,
it's
it's actually less than that. Like you'd be surprised. Like seriously, C9DL, I flame that league all the time, but that's the top 1 or 2%.
Yeah, but you think it's lower, but honestly, I feel the vocal minority is the one that's saying all these things. Like in all the Reddit posts and the Team Liquid forums, the people that are actually like the people that voted are the ones that actually want to see the
Let's
stats
move
and use
on.
them.
Yeah, let's move on. We had a good run, guys, about this discussion, but for the most part, seems like we've hit an impasse. But Sam, I can appreciate your point of view, so thank you for sharing it, playing devil's advocate. But I'll disagree with you. But that's
Fine.
that's fine. Okay, so something that we should cover that affects Dota is Owned is apparently having some issues. I believe that I think all of Navi is pretty much switched to Twitch, as has Fnatic, and I know that the whole Destiny scandal, you know, with if people haven't followed that, of him not getting paid. How do you feel about, for the most part, like if Owned were to die and Twitch were the only streaming site? Kurt, I know that you're a fairly popular streamer, so thoughts?
I don't know what I'm allowed to. Charlie, if someone approaches you with a contract and you don't talk about and you don't sign it at all, are you still not allowed to talk about that at all?
No, you can. It's as long as you don't sign an NDA, you can talk about whatever the hell you want to.
Okay, well, like Owned would come to people with these ridiculous contracts where you get like a certain number of hours and they'll pay you say $8 an hour for all the streaming you've done, and then you get ad revenue on top of that, and you get money for how many views you have. And it was just like an incredibly unsustainable business. And I hated watching streams on Owned because I didn't like their VOD system. And
Yeah, I was actually approached with the same offer. It just seemed
Yeah.
I'm apparently not supposed to talk about numbers in specific, but the amount that they offered just seemed kind of like unbelievable.
Yeah,
like,
it was
like too good
not
to be true.
sustainable,
kind of thing.
right?
Yeah. Plus, I thought in general that Twitch was a more stable company.
And I love just the fact that like Twitch supports so many different tournaments. Like, just for that fact alone, I would go on with Twitch if their services were equal, right? And I think Twitch is a better service, anyways. But yeah.
But on the flip side of the thing, don't you think that competition is better in general because it gives people more options? Like some people might not feel the same way about Twitch. And
Yeah,
what if they want a different ad or source of revenue?
That's really true. Like I would love to see some competition. I just don't think that Owned was providing a comparable service, and I don't think they were paying people either. So
Yeah, isn't that what when the whole team solo mid thing they switched over? That was the main basis of their argument that they hadn't been paid in a bit.
I'm not sure, but I think so. Like I can't confirm that, and it's sort of just hearsay. Charlie,
Yeah, it's just
lawyer
speculation.
person, speculation, sure. Like so.
Oh,
And
that
I
law
know that-
degree is useful now, ain't it?
Yeah, do you guys know that Charlie's law degree is so useless? Like he just forgets
Oh
stuff
my
after
God.
paying like $1 billion for a 3 years degree, blah
Right.
blah blah.
Well done, Charlie.
Anyways, I mean, the general thing with Owned has been, I guess the talk about it is that they expanded too fast and they did too many things, and I guess they didn't do the right things and they didn't manage it properly, and they had they had something great at the beginning, but it didn't really work out for them, and now they can't pay out, all these things, and now everyone's leaving. Apparently, Sing Sing is leaving at the end of his contract as well.
I think that has less to do. Never mind. Go on. Sorry.
But I mean, as far as the monopoly goes for Twitch, I mean, obviously that's not good for, I guess, streamers. Good for Twitch, but not good for everybody else because then they can offer non-competitive rates. But they'll probably. But at the same time, if they start doing that, then I mean, there will be people that that enter into the industry or in the scene that can start offering competitive rates, and then you'll see that sort of ebb and flow. I mean, there's also that well, not necessarily I guess it's a rumor. Well, it's not so much a rumor, but CLG and Azubu are trying to. I think they're starting up their own sort of streaming platform. It's in the works, I believe. So, I guess we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing in general. So, I don't think my contract would switch at all, but somebody entering might get a slightly shittier rate because they know that they have no other option going somewhere. Like having a monopoly on one thing is never a good thing. Monolith does know his shit.
I don't forget things, contrary to what Kurt would tell you.
Yep. Also, by the way, I don't know if anybody sees this. This isn't a topic per se, just something I wanted to bring up. I think Husky started playing Dota as well, right? He was the guy who made all the StarCraft videos and all that jazz. So it's pretty neat to see other personalities come and join what was once a fringe game.
Yeah,
That's actually really awesome. Seeing all the people that like used to watch and follow in StarCraft, playing Dota and stuff.
Especially like Total Biscuit. That guy has a crazy following.
Yeah, it just makes us grow as a community, which I think is really neat.
Yeah.
Real quick, DSMK
Yes?
says Sam looks like Shrek. There.
The Indian Shrek.
How is DSMK gonna talk?
I don't know.
Oh shit. Okay, I think for the most part though, that'll do it for us. We're a bit frazzled guys because of our sound issues and all that jazz, but Sam, I love you. Don't you like my drawing of you?
Wait,
those who have not
let
seen
me
it.
put my drawing up once more too. I think it's more accurate depiction of Sam.
Okay, Aoi, it's because you lost the argument.
Oh,
This
Or to ad hominem attacks.
Okay.
he's
So
so
anyways,
smelly.
thank you guys for watching and tuning in and joining us. Hopefully we'll get our shit sorted next week. Aaron, the guy who mainly does it for us, Spidwad, has been gone, so things have been a bit shaky for us, but thank you for Justin and Travis for kind of saving our asses here. I am Blitz, or BlitzDota, Blitz_Dota on Twitter, twitch.tv/BlitzDota. I will give a personal shout out to everybody who watches the stream. Coop Nasty for throwing games, and actually I know LD watches our show pretty frequently too, so thank you so much to him, and shout out to Matrim as well. And then for Kurt, you can follow him at AY_2000 on Twitch, right? So would you like to give any shout-outs?
Yeah, thanks to my team Team Dignitas and our sponsors Alienware, Antec, Intel, and the others. And just, I think we're playing in a bunch of tournaments coming up like D2L. Charlie will tell you more about that stuff. And you can watch us there. And follow me on Twitter and stream Twitch. Yeah.
Okay, Sam, yours is at Bulba or Liquid Bulba, correct?
Yeah.
Would you like to give a shout out or plug anything in particular?
Follow me at Liquid Bulba, and shout out to False and Matron.
Okay, and Charlie, I believe yours is Dignitas Monolith, or is it Monolith Dota?
It's just follow me at Twitter at Monolith Dota, and then shout out to all our fans, our players, and our sponsors: Intel, Antec, Alienware, Western Digital, Scan, QPad, Yama, GamerBase, and Twitch TV, Multiplay, Creative Labs, and shout out to Lotion.
Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna ask.
AKA
guys-
Kitty. No, shout out to Kitty.
Okay.
How
I
about
thought
your
you were
son?
actually giving a shout out to Snake King.
Shout out to Snake King too.
How about your son? Yeah.
Shut up, Sam.
Okay. Thank you all so much for watching, though. If you guys need
Snake King.
anything, by all means, please
Bring back Taking 2013.
give us a shout out on Twitter. I believe it's Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, and NeoDota 2. Thank you guys for watching.